Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to The Art of a Life Well Lived. I'm Christine Regan Lake, and it's good to be here. So, today I want to talk to you about overgiving. So, I grew up absolutely as an overgiver, and I did not realize that overgiving is coming from a place of lack. When you're overgiving, it means that you are giving from yourself in the hopes that your giving will earn that person's love. It's not coming from a place of fullness and overflow where you give from a place of overflowing abundance of, love, compassion, and grace and respect, right? It's when you're overgiving, you're coming from a place of lack. And a lot of empaths can be very guilty of overgiving. They tend to be generous people in general. So, one thing to think about is that if you look in your connections and you realize that you have a habit of overgiving, it's really important for you to learn to step back and dial back and start having healthier boundaries around, the balanced connection. And it doesn't mean, I'm not saying that like you're monitoring every situation with every person, like counting every time they give and make sure you give, whatever, making sure it's even. We know when we're giving too much, because what happens is when you're over giving, you eventually reach a place of like resentment. You start feeling resentful because you've just been giving and giving and giving, and it's so out of whack that you're like, well, what the heck is the matter here? How come they're never giving back to me? Now, it's interesting. I read years ago, I think it was like 12 years ago or something, I read a book where it was talking about how the universe always seeks balance. And if one person overgives by like, 20, 30, 40% in the relationship, then the other person energetically, automatically is going to step back and give less because the universe always seeks balance. And if someone's overgiving, then to balance the energy, someone else pulls back. So, a great phrase that I learned years ago was you step, I step, you stop, I stop. Meaning that, like, in terms of the energetic balance and the connection, where it's like, it's not just me holding the relationship together energetically by always making the call, always reaching out, always doing the emails or the texts or driving to that person, whatever it is. So overgiving is dysfunction. It's essentially it's codependency, and so your worth, your self-worth, is tied up in how much you give. And the more I give of myself, the more I feel that like I'm more valuable, more worthy, and things like that. Codependency is something that must be healed. If you want to have relationships that are healthy and balanced, we need to learn to heal those codependency issues of overgiving, of holding relationships together, being with the one person that does all the work. And this can happen in every dimension of your life. It's not just romantically. This happens in friendships. This can happen in family dynamics. This can happen in the workplace where one person, just continually just overgives and overgives. And like I said, eventually you reach a point of feeling like resentful and angry. And then all of a sudden you start snapping at people, but really it's your own fault, right? Because you weren't having boundaries to protect yourself, to say, yeah, I don't really need to do this. This is going a little too far. I'm the only one making the effort. And to be honest with you, like, we're adults now, and do we want any connections in our life that aren't healthy? I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and she was, she's in her 60s, and she was saying how, she never thought she would want to get married again, but now she's kind of like coming around to a different perspective on it. I said, here's the thing. Everybody is like, not everybody, but a lot of people can be really negative about marriage after they've gone through a divorce or something like that and be like, oh, I never want to get married again. Marriage isn't the thing that was bad. Marriage is just simply the vessel that holds the relationship. It doesn't matter if you're just dating or if you're married. A bad relationship is a bad relationship, and it doesn't matter whether you're married or single. And if you're, I'm sorry, married or just dating, if you're dating someone, it's an unhealthy relationship. You don't want that either, right? You know what I mean? So marriage is a beautiful and blessed thing when it's healthy, right? And it's an amazing, beautiful thing. But if it's unhealthy, of course it's going to be ugly. But it'd be unhealthy if you were just dating too. You know what I mean? So you really have to have the standard of, I want what's healthy. And and essentially, as also as we age, and life gets more fragile. I want to say fragile in terms of, as we age, certain things happen, medical issues and stuff like that. And having someone that is going to have your back if all of a sudden a medical test doesn't come back so great. There's a certain amount of comfort that comes with that. There's also the comfort of, like waking up with that person every day in bed, like it's even proven scientifically that sleeping with someone you love, is soothing to the body's, nervous system. It makes them feel more safe. So, marriage is not the bad thing. It's unhealthy relationships are the bad thing. And, are you going to stay in an unhealthy relationship with your dating? Maybe. Some people would rather stay in an unhealthy relationship rather than be alone. My feeling is, I don't want anything in my life that's not healthy. If it's not healthy, I don't want it. I've worked too hard to become the person I am right now, to live my life the way I do in terms of my standards, my values, the energy that I hold. And I invest a lot of time and effort to maintain a beautiful, loving, high vibration energy around me. And so, whether it's business colleagues or friends or a lover, I don't have room in my life for anything that's unhealthy, because I just choose health. I choose me. I choose love. And yeah. So those are just some of the things I wanted to share with you today. Like I said, just to come back to the original subject, which is that, codependency is a dysfunction and it needs to be healed. So if you are an overgiver, you need to address your codependency issues, figure out where they came from, go back to your childhood, see who you learned that from. More than likely, you modeled it from your mother or your father, people being, codependent on each other, unable to stand on their own 2 feet emotionally or physically, financially, whatever it is. We're adults and we have to learn how to, the proper care and nurturing of our own soul and to fill our own cup. So I wish you the very best. If you are not aware, I have a link in the description box for Operation Underground Railroad. I'm an abolitionist and I'm committed to raising $1 million to rescue our children from human trafficking. I hope you have a beautiful day and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.